Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Backbone Podcast, where common sense still makes sense in a world that is sick and only getting sicker. And I tell you, it just seems like it's on a daily basis that we continue to get stories of these maniacs out there who just lose their shit and they take it out on innocent people. Now, the beauty that you see next to me here is named Michael Paul Brown, 45, allegedly shot and killed four people in the small town of Anaconda, Montana, about 9,000 people, uh, at 10:30 a.m. local time Friday. This happened at the Owl Bar, which is a neighborhood bar, I guess, in this rural area. The manhunt, as of right now, Sunday, 2:30, 2:20, is ongoing. The manhunt has continued into Sunday, and this guy is a former U.S. Army soldier, and he allegedly gunned down a bartender and three patrons at this tavern. The names of the victims, I think, were released. I think I wrote them down somewhere as I was writing this report up. As we said, the suspect's 45-year-old Michael Brown, and they have now. They believe he may be hiding in a nearby national forest. There is no motive yet, as if there is a reason to do such a thing. But it just goes to show that we're living in a very, very evil world here. I mean, how anyone can come to this conclusion, shooting four people. I mean, how hard could life be? What the fuck could these people have done to this guy that he would go home? He lived next door. He would go home, grab a rifle, and just open fire on these people. It's beyond me. And when I was in news, I had an old producer, and he was very experienced, and he said to me on my first week or two, he goes, "Rich," he says, "do not ever try to figure these people out. You're going to hear some stories. You're going to see some shit. You're going to have to write up stuff like this." He says, "Don't try to figure why these people do the things that they do." He says, "People are fucked up." And they are. Every story, and it's on a daily basis now. Columbine happened in 1997, and it took America. It was an appalling thing, but it was so appalling and so shocking because it didn't happen. It hadn't happened before. That some guys, a bunch of kids, teenagers, who were a couple of months away from graduation, would do such a thing. And now it's getting to the point now where we're numb to it. This probably isn't that big of a the shooting itself isn't a big story. The story is the manhunt that's going on. And the people involved, I mean, every agency, FBI, local police, ATF, they're all involved in trying to catch this guy. Montana State Attorney General Austin Nunson said in the press conference on Sunday, and I quote, "This is a dangerous individual who has committed an absolutely heinous crime against his community and these victims. There is an award for $7,500 for any information leading to the capture of the suspect." Now, he's still a suspect. I mean, they kind of know he did it, but it's amazing. It's terrible. And the people in the surrounding areas, I mean, they're locked in their houses. Nunson urged anyone with information on Brown's whereabouts to call a hotline that has been established through the U.S. Marshals Service. Nunson identified the shooting victims. Here it is. I wrote it down. The shooting victims as 64-year-old Nancy Loretta Kelly. She was the bartender at the time of the shooting. 59-year-old Daniel Edward Bailey, 70-year-old David Allen Lynch, and 74-year-old Tony Wayne Palm. What is with the three names with these fucking people? Everybody has three names outside past the Mississippi. Nunson states that Bailey, Lynch, and Palm were all patrons at the Owl Bar. The Attorney General said local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, are searching for Brown. He's quoted as saying, "We've got air assets, ground assets. We're going to catch this guy. This is absolutely still priority number one." Well, I'm glad that this guy's a priority. Now, on Saturday, investigators released surveillance photo of Brown that Nunson said was taken shortly after the shooting, in which the suspect appeared to have stripped off his clothes and was just in his underwear and socks. Nunson is quoted as saying, "We have very good reason to believe that he is clothed. He does have shoes, and he's probably able to get around." So he obviously he knows the forest area pretty well. Adding that investigators suspect Brown stole the vehicle after the shooting and continued into the woods with camping equipment and clothing. Brown lived next door to the bar, as we said, and was not a stranger to the area or the establishment. Nunson said investigators believe that Brown was familiar with most of the victims, including the bartender. Now, that makes this even. There must have been some sort of history with this guy. I mean, I've been in bars before where people get pissed off, they get thrown out, they get flagged because they've had too much and they leave in a huff or whatever. But for this guy to come in at 10:30 in the morning, and why is a bar open at 10? Who the fuck is in a bar at 10:30 a.m.? I mean, you have to have issues if you're drinking that early. But these small towns, there's just nothing to do. There absolutely is nothing to do in these small towns. I mean, I live in a small town, but I have access to a couple of cities far away. But I still have the choice to get out of here, but and to do things. But some of these towns, especially in Montana, I've never been to Montana. I've never been to that part of the United States. There ain't shit to do there. There's nothing there. And so when you get pissed off, nothing else can distract you, and the anger just festers in you. It becomes like a cancer, and your emotions take the better of you. And this guy was probably mentally ill anyway, from the start. Nunson goes on to say, and I quote, from what I gather, it sounds like he was a regular at the establishment. He literally lives next door. I think it's likely that he knew the bartender and these patrons, which makes this even more heinous. I mean, killing 4 people isn't heinous enough for this guy. Being that he knew them, it makes it even worse. Nunson said investigators believe Brown used a rifle in the shooting, and a motive remains under investigation. He goes on to say, "We do know the individual had access to firearms." No shit. This is why he's the Attorney General. Look at the big brain on Nunson. He had access to firearms. How the fuck did he shoot these people if he didn't have access to firearms? I mean, what are these people thinking when they do these press conferences? I've been in a lot of press conferences when I was in my younger days, and the questions are a lot of times these people get stupid questions. Even more times, you get stupid answers and stupid replies. And this, obviously, he had access to firearms. Nunson goes on to say, "We believe that he is still probably armed and dangerous," adding that authorities believe Brown is still in the area. Now, Brown was in the Army from the year 2001 to 2005. He was in the National Guard from 2006 to 2009. This was confirmed by an Army spokesman. He spent 1 year deployed in Iraq and left the service in the rank of a sergeant, the Army states. Police said that they found a 2007 white F-150 Ford pickup truck that Brown was last seen driving on Friday, but Brown remains at large. And as we said, local and federal agencies are searching the area via ground and air. Now, a local spokesman has said in a press conference, and I quote, residents of the area have been notified and encouraged to stay in their homes and are on high alert. So basically, everybody in this town's on lockdown, which is the worst, because your lives are totally affected by this shit. And, you know, now kids can't go out. Nobody can go out and play. Nobody can go out and ride a bike. You can't go to Walmart, which is probably the most exciting thing these people do. All because of this one asshole. The shooting sparked a large law enforcement presence, including the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, which sent agents to the scene. Montana Governor Greg Gianforte, they have guineas in Montana, said on social media on Friday that he was, quote, closely monitoring the situation involving an active shooter in Anaconda, that's the little town that they live in, and asked for prayers for the victims. Now, we also know now that the search has expanded into a nearby national forest. The national forest is called Beaverhead Deer Lodge National Forest, and forest rangers said last Saturday night, that more than 16 square miles of parkland has been closed and will be closed through August 16th to facilitate the search for Brown, who is allegedly hiding there. The National Forest Rangers ordered the area about 8 miles west of Anaconda to be closed through the 16th, quote, to ensure public health and safety during the ongoing law enforcement investigation and search efforts to locate the suspect for the Anaconda murders, end quote. The Anaconda Deer Lounge County Law Enforcement Center said that the closures include Barker Lake and the surrounding areas, wherever the hell that is, and the forest area closure indicates a shift in focus from the wooded area off of Supton Road, where the Montana Department of Justice said law enforcement was deployed. Now, again, the attack occurred at 10:30 a.m., according to law enforcement. The department said Saturday that the victims killed in the shooting were all residents of Anaconda. Now, again, we don't know why this guy did this. Now, Brown is, again, he's believed to be probably armed to the teeth. And usually these guys, they rarely come back alive because I think the last guy did because they found him alive. But this guy just sounds crazy to me. Sounds like he's out of his fucking head. And I mean, just the picture of him. Look, I know that in this day and age, big fat guys with beards is the whole norm. I live in a small town. There are fat guys with beards down to their belly buttons. I don't know why. I don't know how women find that attractive. I'll never understand it. But if you, and we've talked about this before in man memos that I haven't written in a while, there is something to be said about somebody who doesn't take care of their exterior looks. If you're overweight, if you're growing beards, if you're covering your body with tattoos and piercing all over the place, there is a tremendous amount of trauma that you're going through. And this guy, I think the pictures that they're showing of him, he just has a mustache. But that picture there that we saw, I mean, the one that I have up here, I mean, he looks like some of the morons that live in my town. Authorities say he was wearing a tie-dye t-shirt, blue jeans, and an orange bandana on Friday. But pictures released Saturday by the Montana DOJ showed him fleeing the scene, apparently stripped down to his boxers. Now, he's probably changed into warmer clothing or camp clothing. And he might, I don't know how he could encamp himself. I mean, how do you sleep thinking that these guys are hunting for you? They probably have drones all over the place. The mood of the area of this town of Anaconda, this shooting will stay with them forever. And it's got to be chilling that something in a small town could happen, because when you live in a small town like I do, you think that nothing is going to happen here, because nothing ever does, right? And then something like this happens, and now you lock your doors. Now your head is on a swivel all the time, because you don't know when some maniac with guns is going to come and blow your brains out. And as I said, this is not an occurrence that happens every blue moon, once every blue moon. It's now happening 2, 3, 4 times a week. And it only makes, and I'm not one of these people, but it only makes the argument for gun controls even stronger, because you know that Democrats are going to try to take advantage of this by saying, you see, if we had more gun control, the shit wouldn't happen. Now, that argument doesn't apply, because we had a shooting in this week in New York, where the guy was walking around in broad daylight in mid Manhattan with an AR-15. So that argument just goes out the window, because New York has some of the strictest laws, gun regulations in the country. I mean, it's a blue state, of course it does. But why is this happening? Is it just a lack of hope now that people have in this country? Are people just fed up? Are people just weak-minded? Because people today get offended by everything. And if you offend me, I'm going to show you. Is it drugs out there? Is this military? Is him being in the military? Maybe something happened to him in the military. Who knows? It could be anything. But all I know is that when I was growing up, none of this shit happened. And I grew up in New York in the 1980s, late 70s and 80s and 90s, when it was fucking hell on earth over there, until Rudy got in. You weren't. You had to be on your. You had to be sharp and on your game to survive there. But you didn't see these mass shootings like this. And the people who got killed in a lot of, killings are terrible when you hear them, but a lot of times they were bad guys killing bad guys. It's nothing like this. We didn't hear about, old lady bartenders getting popped in the head. But we sit here on a Sunday, and you always have to be thankful when you wake up in the morning, because you don't know if you walk into a Walmart and some nut job comes in and starts spraying everybody. You don't know if you're going to get gas at a local gas station and then some guy just comes up and caps you. It could happen. That's the scary part. And of course, if you have children, I don't even think about it, because you'll never sleep at night. You'll never sleep at night. So the manhunt continues for this guy as of right now. And we will get back to you if we hear of anything. Again, I would doubt that they're going to get this guy alive. He looks like a maniac. He looks like one of these lifer guys who's he's not gonna go out easily, or he might take himself out. Who knows? That would be the best thing for everybody. But that's my 2 cents. Thank you again for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Be careful out there, my friends. As you can tell, Satan is very, very busy. Very, very busy, and he's loving every minute of it. Be a man. Have a backbone, because masculinity and common sense are worth standing up for. And remember, if it ends in an ism, it's a mental disorder. We'll see you later.